Alright guys, so it's Joker again, and we're gonna be doing a Renekton gameplay today, and I decided to do this gameplay because I wanted to show how I play Renekton, and possibly get some tips from you guys if you guys know of any better ways to deal with what I did. And I'm gonna be giving tips and tricks just from my knowledge base, and we're gonna find out how to win the game and what exactly Renekton does, because right now in ranked, at least where I'm in gold 4, and I've only just started ranking recently. I've been winning a lot of games. And right now I'm at like I think I'm at like a 72% win ratio from when I started playing like a few weeks ago. I did play before that, and there were a few difficulties here and there, but I started playing again, and I won pretty much 72% of my games. So if it was 15 games, I won 12 games. At the time, it was 75%, and then I lost like 2 or 3 games and won another, so it dropped a little bit. But yeah, so I'm just gonna start now. To explain my starter, I got a rejuvenation bead, and I know I'm going up against Fiora. As you see, I lined up the matchups on the scoreboard so that the respective lanes are all matched up together. And you see I'm going up against Fiora, and I could have won a cloth armor, knowing that she goes full physical damage, but I decided I really wanted to have as many potions and regeneration as I could, because her passive allows her to sustain herself in lane pretty well, and I wanted to be able to keep up with that. Also, the ward, if I bought a ward with a cloth armor, I would only have like 2 potions, I think. So that was really helpful. And so yeah, I made sure to steal a little bit of EXP from Sejuani since I gave her a little tougher leash there. And yeah, so walking into lane, I have a little bit more EXP, but I don't exactly know how Fiora works in top lane because, to be honest, I haven't faced that many Fiora, so I walk up to give her a little bit of harassment and find myself getting a really good beating. So I figure it's the only way to find myself ahead in the harassment or in any kind of trade right now is I either have to have enough fury or to have her not be able to attack me. So here I reach level 2, give her a little bit of a stun, and with fury on it, attacks twice and does more damage. So I actually come out ahead in that one. I don't have to use a potion. And that was actually a mistake. I didn't mean to put the ward down, but my ward and potions were in the wrong slots. I usually have them switched, so that was a little bit awkward. But luckily for me, I don't think Hecarim games for a while. And so now I see Fiora uses a spell, and I feel it's okay to give her a little bit of an engagement, especially since she's in my minion line. So one thing you always want to do when you're in top lane is whenever they're in your minion line or you have more minions, it's okay to give a small trade, especially if your power seems to be even or ahead of the enemy champion. And since in our recent trades it went both ways, I was able to win one trade, she was able to win one trade. I felt it was okay to go ahead and fire there. So now I'm at maximum fury, and I'm finding myself in a bad position because my minions are under her tower, which is good because she's going to miss some of that CS. But I'm not able to use my fury, and I'm not able to engage on her, so part of it's slipping away. And now you'll see my fatal flaw. Because of that mindset, I over-engaged, I kind of got a little bit too aggressive and overstayed my welcome, and she was able to take advantage of that. Because I had that thought in mind. She outputs a lot of damage. I was able to put so much on me, and so yeah. But you'll see right now, she used both her summoner spells. I only used my ignite, so while she did finish me off, I'm probably gonna have an advantage in the next fight, even with the fact that she has another item, because it's so early in the game that her getting a pickaxe isn't gonna be that much better than me getting a cloth armor. So yeah, let's see what happens next. So I'm gonna get into lane, and my teammates are actually, most of them are pre-made. I think we have one random, and so they're not giving me too much trouble. I'm probably not going to get a gank for a while either, and right now my minion wave is a little bit behind, but it's going to be put ahead because of all my AoE spells. And so you see there, she did pretty much no damage to me, except for when she parried, and now she's coming back with her attack speed steroid, and I have to pop a potion. And for a while, we're going to see that I'm going to be pushed up a little bit. She finally bought a ward, and I'll be honest, in this game, I don't think I actually start getting ahead of her until I get a gank from my jungler. But I think I would have pulled ahead anyway, just going into later game because of the way I build Renekton. And so, yeah, like I was saying, you're going to see my Renekton get pushed into the tower quite a bit, and it's okay to let that happen. Especially like in ranked, you don't want to try to force things too much, you want to wait for your jungler. So that you just don't feed. Like, I'll tell you one key to winning ranked, like, because I've been winning a lot of ranked, and I know I'm not that high ranked yet, but I think this is something that I can carry on as I keep going into higher ranks, is if you're not winning your lane, or if you're even, there's nothing wrong with staying that way. There's nothing wrong with letting yourself be pushed into your tower as long as you don't die. And if you can keep farming that way, then you're going to come ahead later because your jungler is going to come around, and as long as you don't let your enemy opponent get too far ahead, you're going to find yourself in a reasonable position, especially as Renekton. And right now you see, even though, just as her ward goes down, Sejuani comes in, and we're going to be able to pull this off. So later on, Sejuani doesn't have to come at all, and I do a pretty standard combo. Just use my E to get in and stun her, then use my E again to reaffirm my position, and I use my Q, and yeah, she's finished off pretty easily. And that's the first kill of our team, and you'll find that we're going to be pulling ahead pretty easily from here on out. Mostly just my lane and also Nidalee, and it's mostly, I'm going to have to say it's actually mostly part 2 Sejuani, because and you'll find this in rank too. If you have a Sejuani jungle and she spends a lot of time tanking, especially after she reaches level 6 and gets her home guards, there's a lot of free kills, especially as Renekton or someone like Shinzao, which I do not suggest nowadays, but like someone who can easily lock down an enemy champion as your jungler, and then playing someone like that on your top lane like Renekton or Shinzao, you're gonna find a lot of free kills, easy kills, you know, things like that. So as we're walking into lane now, I have my tier 2 boots and I have my longsword, and the thing I was mainly focused on is that normally I would get my brutalizer first and just try to outdamage the other champion. However, against Fiora, I realized that after testing her power, I realized I can't outpower her, you know, or overpower her. She's gonna have a lot more damage than me for a while, so I need to be able to reduce all that. And knowing that she uses a lot of base attacks except for her parry, you know, getting a ninja tabby first was probably, in my mind, it was my best bet. So that's what I did, and my longsword is going to be going towards a brutalizer. And I'll tell you right now, my main build that I'm going for right now is going to be brutalizer, and then I'm going to go straight up tank. The only way I wouldn't go straight into a Sunfire Cave is if I was going up against a AP champion, in which case I'd probably get something else. And here Sejuani comes up, but she didn't want to steal my kill, so I'm very grateful for that, and I got a free kill off Fiora just because I had my ninja tabby. Without my ninja tabby, I probably would not have been able to get that kill, to be honest. She was doing a lot of damage, especially towards the end, but my ulti ended up getting me a lot of fury, and a lot of my damage was doubled just for having that much fury. And here I just, whenever you kill an enemy champion, it's very important that you let your wave go into the enemy tower. One, because Fiora now will not be able to get any of that EXP that you ran into her tower, because she wasn't there to get any of that experience. So you're going to be levels ahead of her, and you're going to be ahead of her in gold as well if you manage to last hit them. And by the time you're back, your minions should be back in the middle of the lane or closer to your tower if their jungler pushes it. So I'm gonna come back into lane and I'm gonna try to stomp the shit out of this Fiora, and she's gonna have her Hecarim around, and I'm gonna be aware of that. But it's not gonna matter too much, mostly for the fact that I can outpower or overpower Fiora pretty easily. And so here she engages on me. She's a little bit aggressive, and I figured, you know, Hecarim's here. Prepare my finger on my E and I get away pretty easily. And yeah, so let's explain the items a bit. Right now I know Fiora has a Tiamat's, and I have a Brutalizer and also have my damage reduction from my Ninja Tabby. So for me, it's pretty clear that there's no way Fury is going to outdamage me now, because I'm going to be able to keep building up my Fury from having so many AoE spells and having my Brutalizer to outdamage anything that she does. And all she has is a wave clear item. Like, I don't know what she was thinking, to be honest. It does add a little bit of her sustain, like she has those rejuve beads that built into the Tiamat and some lifesteal, but yeah, it really does nothing for her in terms of being able to beat me in the lane. And she can't afford to fight me under my tower, so there's no point in clearing the wave at all. And as you saw, which I also made note of this, she didn't put down her ward until just now, I think she starts putting down. She actually doesn't. So being able to wave clear without vision, if she doesn't set it down first, is pretty bad. And there, it's pretty bad. I missed a little bit of CS. I'm not exactly diamond yet, but I try my best. So now she engages on me, and I stun her in the middle of her attacks, and it cuts her flow. So she gets out damaged right there. One thing to know about stuns is if you use it in the middle of someone's steroid, they lose a lot of the duration of their steroid. So that's what I did to Fiora. She wasn't able to keep up her damage, and now I'm able to go in on her and just try to damage her as much as I can, and there she goes. So she lost a lot of... The reason why I won that fight was because, 1, she doesn't have any damage, 2, she doesn't have any defense, and 3, a lot of her cooldowns were taken away just from me stunning her earlier, and my wave was just too big and she had to focus on farming. Aside from that, yeah, I was just ahead of her in every single aspect of laning. And I see now Hecarim is trying to fight this Nidalee, and she does a very good job of baiting him. Actually, before I even got here, she was just running between 2 bushes. And you'll see it's funny here, because Hecarim tries to get away from me, and, you know, I just let him. I decide that this Annie is a lot better of a target. And I was right, because she ends up being on a killing spree. I could have probably got the Hecarim, and then got Nidalee an assist, but here she's able to free farm pretty easily, and yeah. So let's see what I buy now. So, I buy a giant spell. The first thing I come back thinking is, you know, Renekton is best when he is able to prolong the amount of time he stays alive, because most of his damage comes from his spells. The longer you keep him alive, the more he's able to use his spells. And so I have this Brutalizer to lower the cooldown, and now I have a giant spell. And I'm probably going to be building that into a Sunfire Cape, as most Renektons do, because we want to be able to stay alive. Fiora does physical damage, so now I'm going to be reducing even more of that. And also, the longer I stay alive, the longer Sunfire Cape will keep doing damage to people. So, if we talk about what items would be Renekton's core items, that would be one of them, just for the fact that... oh, here you'll see a fail. I tried to flash over, but pathing took me away from the wall. So, just a little proof that I'm still gold. But yeah, so... what was I talking about? Okay, so if we're going to talk about his core items, I would say Brutalizer, either Ninja Tabby or Merc Shreds, and then Sunfire Cape. After that, you can build... well, in my version of Renekton, I'd like to go Spirit Visage if they're AP, or I go and that's another thing. When Hecarim comes running at you, just let him hit you first before you use your E to dash out. Because when you hit one E, you can use the other one. So as I was saying, if they're AP, go Spirit Visage or Maw, depending on how heavy their AP is. But aside from that, you just go full armor and HP. Pretty much build anything that has to deal with a giant spell, and you're pretty fine. So yeah, right now we know that Hecarim is waiting because we have a ward in there, and Sejuani is also waiting with me. And I think right now we decide. Okay, so Sejuani runs away, and pretty much nothing is gonna happen here. Both junglers waste a lot of time, but in the end, I still gain dominance. And you'll see, even though we're 7 kills to 11 kills, we still have the we're technically in the advantage just for the fact that if we're under in kills and we have enough money to either be ahead of them, which we are now, then that means that we're having more lane dominance. So the fact that I'm able to out-farm and out-level this Fiora really puts me ahead. And right there I took a few tower shots just because I knew I could put down a lot of damage on her while keeping myself ahead in terms of health. While you're playing top lane, like, I know a lot of people tunnel vision, but it's very useful to be able to keep your eyes on the map because especially nowadays, I find that it's harder to keep your eyes on the map, especially when you got a lot of things to do, like an AD carry or a mid player. But as Renekton, especially since Renekton is pretty much a wall in top lane, you can afford to put your eyes on the map. And that's one of the reasons why I would suggest you guys pick up Renekton, is because he gives you so much time to be able to do whatever you want. Right now I know that I'm getting ganked, but it doesn't really matter because I'm going to be able to take... actually, I'm not sure if it's this time, but okay, yeah. So that was my second death. That's going to be the only death for a while. I thought it was a different moment, but later on someone tries to gank me and I end up taking down someone with me anyway, because Renekton's pretty good at staying alive while dealing damage. Let's see. So right now we're just gonna watch. You see I got my Sunfire Cape now, so... and Fiora only has a Ravenous Hydra. She won't be able to do pretty much any damage to me. So I'm gonna run up to top lane now. I'm gonna just wreck her face. And I'm gonna get revenge for my tower. My team is doing a pretty decent job right now. As you can see the score. My jungler and my support have done a very good job to make sure all the kills get to the right people. And you'll see later on in the game, Varus deals a lot of damage, but Nidalee and I are able to clean up very, very well. In fact, I think you'll be very disappointed in this Nidalee on just exactly how well she's able to get kills. Because, well, yeah, I'll let you see later on. So as you know, Fiora took my tower, and she's gonna come back a few times to show her face before I can finish off the tower, but... yeah, so right now my mindset is, you know, I want to back off because my Sunfire Cape is going to aggro her, and that's going to make it so that I can't push down her tower. Same thing with her Ravenous Hydra, it's not going to let me push down the tower at all. And so, I go in one more time. And you're going to see that when I see the tower really low, and I see that I have as much health as I do, I'm just going to go straight for it. Fiora shows her face again. I keep thinking she's going into her jungle and farming, and that's probably what she did. So, yeah, I see it's 2 shots. And then, I just go straight up attacking her. Ulti. You should actually ulti a little bit earlier, because that's gonna get you, your Fury a lot earlier. And so last time, Fiora's, movement speed buff, played me, and I got killed for it, but this time, since it's Hecarim ganking and not Annie, who can lock me down and have Tiber's body block, I was able to fight Fiora and also fight Hecarim right after. And that's going to happen a lot if you learn how to play Renekton. You're going to find that the jungler plus the top laner won't be able to take you on. As soon as you have these 3 items, your Ninja Tabi, or Merc Treads, or your Brutalizer, or your Sunfire Cape, they're not going to be able to do anything to you pretty much. And so I see now that an Aegis is being built, so my Rejuvenation Bead is probably going to be sold, because normally if no one's building an Aegis, you want to be the one to build it. And I'm going to say that a lot of people say build Aegis if they have a good amount of AP. I say build Aegis in every single game. I don't care who has it. Someone on your team, no matter what the team comp is, needs to have an Aegis. It just reduces way too much damage for you to ignore. So yeah, now that I've taken down the top tower and I've shown Fiora that she can't leave top without me going back to push it, I'm gonna go try to fight a little bit more. And Annie is a little bit overextended. I'm gonna just forget about this Hecarim for now. We're gonna go after this Annie. And although Varus goes down, he wasn't on a killing spree or anything like that, whereas Annie was, so taking her down was a lot more worth it. And yeah, it just goes to show, like, these guys aren't warding at all, and if they had a ward, they would have seen me coming and nothing would have happened. Right now I have so much armor and health that I'm able to slice and dice into the battle and ride out again. And this could have been a battle gone wrong. However, there were enough people out of the fight that my teammates were able to just stay in enemy lines for so long. And Nidalee does some really nice spears. So right now, I'm just going to check for their red, and seeing that it's up, feel free to take it, especially since I know right now they have to defend their turret. When an enemy team has to defend their turret and your team already has an advantage in damaging them, then you can afford to leave for a while, and then seeing that you're gone, the enemy team might be baited to fight. And being Renekton, even if you have half health like I do, if they engage in a fight and you have your ultimate up, which I don't, but if you did, you can go into that fight, slice and dice, and more than likely your team will win the fight, just from you being able to reduce the enemy team's armor.
Blue team has slain the dragon.
I think that's actually the first dragon of the game. But yeah, as you see right now, it's 12 to 16, and we're so far ahead of the enemy team. The dragon gives about, I'm gonna say 1.5k for your team, or maybe a little bit less or more, give or take. So even without that dragon, we are already even or ahead of the enemy team with less kills. So I think in this game I actually get 1 item from being a full build. So yeah, I have my Spirit Visage now because Hecarim and Annie and Thresh do a decent amount of magic damage, and I can also use the cooldown, and then the survivability from my Q, since Spirit Visage increases the amount of healing you do. So yeah. Now looking at this Fiora, you see that she still has no items. Like I said, she had a Ravenous Hydra earlier, but actually it's only until like recently that she got it. And here they try to go after my Nidalee, and knowing how strong I am, the only thing that can really beat me is consistent output of damage. So only Misfortune can do that, unless she is alone like she is right now. So I proc my E on Tibbers, and I go straight for Misfortune. And then I let my teammate get pulled, and I use her as bait. And here's a really funny moment. So I'm gonna kill these Wraiths. I just killed Thresh. And Annie was our main target, right? She gets away now. And in all chat she types, "Get on my level." So, you know, at first I walk here, I'm thinking, well, she got away. She might want blue. I want to even see if it's up. It's healing. And Annie's going back. And here's where I spawn. I got on it. So, yep. This Annie got a little bit too cocky with the fact that without Sejuani, Nidalee was getting stopped. And so now we have full map control. We have a ward on their blue. We have a ward around. And we have their entire red jungle warded. A lot of those wards are mine, but Yeah, that's another tip I should give you guys. In a lot of ranked games, I like to play top lane or AD carry, but if I had to choose for dual queues, you'd want to go top or jungle with a support. And the reason why I say that is because no matter how retarded your team is, if you can always ping for them where everyone is, they will always react in some way that can be followed up. So say for example someone's going down bot lane and you're the support. If you had it warded, they would either continue fighting because of the fact that they know that they can win even with the threat coming down from the river. If it wasn't warded, then they couldn't do that. And so for a dual queue, to have a support plus a jungler or a top laner, you can get you can just have a whole entire river warded, and then as the game progresses, move that line of wards forward into their jungle. And so, one thing I didn't talk about that I'll talk about now is that after you take the first tower as Renekton, playing top lane, after the outer tower is taken down from the enemy team, instead of buying any potions, your priority should be buying 2 wards every single time you go back, or having 2 wards in your inventory. And the reason I say this is because you're going to want to ward their red jungle. Okay, so here a fight ensues, and I use my slice and dice on 3 people, and we're able to take down Headbread. I see 3 people aside over here, and I decide I want to kill Miss Fortune. She's a high priority target. So we take her down. At this point I see everyone so low, and I know that I can get a pentakill, but then I see Nidalee take one of my kills. And everyone here is really disappointed, and this is what I was talking about. Nidalee's just a little too good at taking his kills away from people. So yeah. We're gonna take a tower here, and I think after this, we're just going to go back or hold our ground.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
So we do decide after all that we want to go for another tower. And I think we get it. Or at least we deal a lot of damage to get it there. Normally after a fight like that, you want to take your 1 tower and just go, because if you overstay your welcome and you're even, then more than likely they're going to kill you and then take Baron. But in this case, since I'm super strong and I have a lot of sustain, we're able to hold off and not die. And you'll see here, I decide if they're going to chase after my Lulu, I'm going to take their red. But I see with my ward that Miss Fortune's coming around, so I see Fiora might cut me off, and I don't want to go over Baron because I have a Sunfire Cape and Baron might start attacking me and reducing my defenses. So I run towards Varus instead, knowing that Fiora doesn't have any defenses. Or, she doesn't have any CC, excuse me. So yeah, let's see what I buy here. I buy myself a Black Cleaver. It's one of those things where it's like, you know, I could try to wait for another item, or I can get this. And I have so much gold right now that I buy that and a Giant Spell. So, the next item I'm going to get is probably going to be either a Warmogs or it's going to be a Randuin's. In most cases, I would have got a Randuin's, but in this one, I figured, hey, I'm not actually getting a lot of damage dealt to me to the point where like I'm threatened by anything, so I'm just going to try to regenerate as much health as I can. So, this game, I'm going to be going for a Warmogs. And as I was saying before, the Black Cleaver choice was mostly because, you know, I could afford to be dealing more damage. And the more armor I shred, the easier it is for my team to just sweep them. And just, you know, as you saw in the last team fight, if you slice and dice people, especially more than one target, then your team literally melts the other team. And so I forced the flash right there. I didn't actually use mine, since I don't have any of my spinners except for my ignite now. Here it's pretty easy. I just ignite Headrun and kill and get Thresh really low, and Nidalee picks up both of the kills. Yeah. So if I were the other team right now, what I'd do to fend off this attack, or fend off my team, is, well, 1, I'd have a better comp. 2, I would actually just wait to group up because the reason why we were able to engage on the 3 over there was because Annie had to flash out, and Hecarim and Thresh stayed in the fight. So what you want to do there is just run out. And so the main thing about this fight, you'll see Fiora never actually helps her team at all, which is what you see in Sky's video about X-Fiora Master 18. Fiora does nothing but deals damage. So right here I try to help out Varus, but Fiora and Varus get into a fight and they end up killing each other. And so I just take the farm to make sure it's pushed. I know they're not going to contest Baron because I'm fast enough where if they try to, I'll get there on time to pretty much wreck their day, and Fiora's not there to help them deal damage. So I'm gonna... Okay, that was actually gonna be my Warmogs right there, so I have to wait a little bit when I get back to base. And I gave him a little hard time about that. So what I was gonna say is, in this video, I showed you exactly how I would play Renekton. Is you want to keep the thought in your mind that I want to survive as long as I can in a fight, regardless of what I have to do. So I'm going to build HP no matter what. I'm going to build my Brutalizer no matter what, just to be able to keep using my Q and regenerating. And then whatever I have to get, whether it's armor or magic resist, I want to get as much of it as possible. And so every single item except for Black Cleaver has some sort of defense. And even Black Cleaver would have HP on it from the Ruby Crystal. Excuse me. And it really doesn't matter what they do to me at this point. There's no way anyone can kill me. And that's why you see I haven't died since the one time in top lane where I got ganked by Annie. And so here, even though I don't see a lot of them, I know that I can just walk up since Fiora is being a little bit too far ahead. And I can see that Hecarim and Thresh are backing off a little bit. I know that they're afraid and that Fiora is just being a little bit reckless. So we go out, did a little poke, and now we're on a team fight. And yeah, we're able to take down Fiora pretty easily just for the fact that she was pretty much alone in that fight. Even though Hecarim ultied, there was no follow-on. So yeah, literally takes on Annie top, and now we're able to slice and dice in. I used one slice. Slice always puts you into the fight, and then dice decides whether or not you want to keep going or if you want to stop. So always use your slice first. You can stun or Q after that. It doesn't really matter which one. I tend to save stun for dice because you know, after you realize, hey, I want to go in or I actually want to back out, then you can use your stun offensively or defensively. So my combo is slice, Q, dice, dice, W. And then if you want to go all in, then you can do slice, Q, ultimate, dice, and then W. Or if you know from the beginning that you want to go all in, then just press R from the get-go. That time I actually could have died, but I decided to use my team as meat shields and just get away with it. Because I don't want to die. I'm on a very large killing spree. I think I have 15 kills right now. I don't know. The screen that I'm looking at to voiceover is pretty small, but I think I have 15 too right now. And so I don't want to give them that killing spree. I don't think they can get ahead anyway. As you can see, the gold count is 10k ahead almost. We're at 8k ahead. And so yeah, right now I'm just waiting for my team mostly. I'm deciding what to buy also. So I get another Giant's Belt and I'm thinking, well, I'm just going to buy Randuin's because, you know, they have a sizable amount of AD and I can always slow people down with it. And I bought myself Home Guard boots too, just to be a fast alligator. And yeah, right now I'm thinking they might want to go for Baron, but I'm wondering if they're actually brave enough. So I see Hecarim and Thresh there, and I'm thinking they're probably not going to do it. I think Hecarim's going to go back and Thresh is going to try to farm because he stays in the vision. And at this point, I'm just so fed that even if Hecarim was there, I would still keep fighting. And so that was a really easy kill. He nearly picks up. And as you can see, even the box did barely any damage to me. I just have that much HP and that much regeneration. And this is why when you play Renekton in ranked games, you're pretty much always going to stomp. Even if you do badly in lane, like I did pretty badly in the first few minutes of lane, you're always going to come back, especially in team fights, because when you slice and dice, you're going to pretty much hit everyone and get a bunch of assists. And that'll put you ahead, that'll put your team ahead because you shred their armor pretty well. And so now we're on our quest to finish the game. We're all full health, pretty much. I have almost a full build. If the game goes any longer, I would build a Randuin's. And yeah, so let's see. So Varus fails pretty much there, but it's okay. Sometimes I wish you could just grab Thresh's Lantern even if you're the enemy. So if there was any time to jump in for a fight, it would be now. And as you see, taking our support, they think they can kill her really easily, but they can't. Slice and dice, Annie flashes in, and at first I was going after Hecarim, but since I was too late in switching targets, she was able to take down the Varus really easily. And now Nidalee and I will finish off the rest of the team. And so here, get out, so I slice. And now it's pretty much over. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you want to see more, go check out my links in the description. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.